Alright, today we're gonna be looking at a mod called Mekanism. This mod is, sus. Mekanism is notorious for making things way too easy and simple. This Mekanism uses a thing called a pump to actually get water out of the ground. And it uses infinite water sources. This is quite questionable, as the people who play Mekanism, they try to sabotage me. The fact that these energy cables are transparent is, I guess they're made of glass or something, but as you can see, we have a mechanical pipe here. This is going to extract the water from this. What's very interesting is the aesthetic of this mod is it has quite a unique aesthetic from a lot of mods I've seen. Another interesting thing about this mod is that it actually has gas pipes and liquid pipes, so it has an interesting system of gases. And all of the pipes and stuff are, of course, upgradable. In order to put some energy into the system, we need to use a solar generator, I think. Quite an interesting noise we are hearing. We will use the bigger solar panel, and we've now produced some hydrogen. However, I'm noticing an inconsistency with this electrolysis machine, is that it has no actual electrolyte in it. How are we actually splitting this water? How does this work? This is some sorcery right here. Which I guess it is feasible to actually separate the hydrogen ion from the oxygen ions. However, I've never managed to do that in my house, so I don't know if that works. We will take a pressurized tube of whatever this is. Never mind, it doesn't even exist. We will now build a chemical infuser to get our hydrogen. We're putting the hydrogen onto this side. Now we must figure out how to get chlorine. Chlorine can usually be obtained in elemental form from electrolysis of salt water, so hopefully we'll have to do some of that. And of course it is electrolytic separation of brine, which is sodium, and chlorine. However, I'm noticing that there is no byproducts here, which is... there would be many byproducts. And notably, the sodium would not be pure if it was brine. Brine can be produced by this, which gives us brine, a thermal evaporation controller. But why on earth is this giving us salt water? How? Wait, what? What is this machine? It says evaporation? What, are we evaporating the water? Why are we getting brine from that? There should just be salt then. Assuming we're evaporating salt water, that is. So I've designed my configuration for my evaporation tower like this, which should allow this to connect, but it seems it's not connecting. We must get a weird Mekanism magic tool called a configurator. However, these pipes don't work like GregTech pipes, and they're quite confusing, and don't seem to want to connect to the valve. It would appear the reason they don't want to connect is because the copper block looks identical to the thermal evaporation block. Now I've managed to connect the water machine into the fancy evaporation machine into the water pump. And now all I have to do is connect this final machine to the system. I've decided to move this block back so we can use the wrench to actually extract from this. It does not want to extract. Does it extract this way with a, does it extract with one of these? No. What does it extract with? What is this? What? Am I being lied to? It's those Mekanism saboteurs again, continuing their secret sabotage. Now we are making the hydrogen chloride inside the machine. However, I've realized that this is producing the yellow juice too slowly. We must make this thing much bigger. Now that our plant is much bigger, it's still not big enough. However, I'm tired of building it bigger. Instead, I'll just connect some fancy pipes to it. Mekanism comes with a pipe called a thermodynamic conductor, which breaks the laws of physics. Just to prove my point about how ridiculous this is, I've constructed quite a massive coil. This would probably cool a heated metal tube like this is supposed to be. Now I can attach the resistive heater and attach it to the power grid. And as you can see, it starts to glow red. But what's interesting is, oh, well, we've connected it wrong. That's what's interesting here. We've connected everything wrong. But like the average Mekanism player, we've created 1,000 thermal conductive pipes to conduct our heat resistor from over there to here, speeding up our Giga Copper Tower. However, this is not enough heat, so I will set this to 4,000. I will set this to, hold on, give me a second. Let me find one of those papers. Since Mekanism uses such an interesting thankfully, Mekanism uses the same measurement as the paper, so now I can just set this to 10 to the 18 Kelvin. Which means I have to have, I believe, 10 with 18 zeros behind it. Unfortunately, I cannot set my resistive heater to fusion reactive temperatures. But I will set it to the maximum temperature anyway. In order to meet power demand, we're going to have to build a big power grid now. The average Mekanism player builds around 10,000 of these conductors. Or they don't build these at all. Usually they do not build these because they have access to other mods. Now that we've conducted a giant pillar of cables to rival the clouds, we could begin to assemble our wind turbines. In Mekanism, wind turbines aren't actually called wind turbines. They're called wind generators. There is no punishment for putting wind turbines into each other. Or not to my knowledge, at least. In fact, it's even recommended to put your wind turbines like this. After connecting all of our wind turbines, we are now ready to check on the heater, which requires more temperature. Since we were not able to hit 10 to the 18K, we must try harder. I think we will build 18 of these resistive heaters. Since Mekanism uses tiers of conductors, we will use the highest tier because we definitely are going to need this. Now that we have our heat generators, we must get a power supply adequate of supplying them. Thankfully, Mekanism comes with the cheater's power supply. It is called a Creative Energies Cube. This device is exclusively used by cheaters. I guess I'm a cheater now. And my god, does that sound awful? Take a listen. How about it now? Isn't that just atrocious? The temperature must be increased around to the maximum. That is around 1,000,000 degrees, it looks like. If each of these can reach 1,000,000 degrees, then surely we can achieve... Oh my gosh, how many of these would we need? I don't even know. Let's just say this is 10 to the 18 Kelvin. Unfortunately, the cables cannot even keep up with this much power. We've now maxed out this machine at 3.3 Kelvin. Holy crap, that's kilokelvin. With all of this brine, surely we've produced... Oh no. Thankfully, Mekanism comes with built-in dumping systems. This level of simplicity is never seen before. Now that we have our hydrogen chloride, we must ask ourselves, was it really worth it? And what we should do next in the next episode. Hydrogen chloride is used as ore processing for basically every ore, which makes kind of little sense at all. And hydrogen chloride is basically a gas, so that means we need pressurized tubes. Using our basic pressurized tubes, we see that Mekanism does get this right. We will pump our anhydrous gas into the gas burning generator. Never mind, it cannot handle a hydrogen chloride. Okay, so I see that we need the chemical injection chamber, which is probably over here. I slap down the chemical injection chamber and realize it has no side outputs that I can visibly see, though the hydrogen chloride is now in the system. We can also see that the lower slot in the system is able to take in an item. The item that it accepts is salt, which is apparently hydrogen chloride, instead of what salt actually is, sodium chloride. If we were eating hydrogen chloride, we'd probably all be dead right now. Thankfully, Mekanism is not reality, so we're all fine. Now I will shove in my gold ore, and as you can see, the hydrogen chloride is doing fancy Mekanism magic to it. I can explain to you why this makes no sense to me. The main reason is that not all ores are going to react to the same acids, and in fact, this is giving us shards of gold. Which the question is the shard a crystal? Is the crystal precipitated out of the solvent, which in this case is hydrogen chloride? And also, can hydrogen chloride even be used as a solvent in this case? In the next episode, we'll deal with sodium, and also oxygen. I will see you all then.